South has the lowest median wage in the country. It's not an accident that black workers are paid the lowest down south, and thus white workers tend to be paid less too, because there's always this threat that they could hire a black worker, or in some cases they could even hire a woman worker to take the job of a male worker. Wages are lowered for men when women are paid less. But more importantly, when men and women unite in struggle, men and women can see the power that they have. I'll give you an example of that. Harlan County was an area that had an intense coal miners' strike in 1973 and 74. At one point, the bosses, as they usually do, outlawed the men strikers from walking the picket line. The women, spouses, and partners of the coal miners had to come in and walk the picket line and even lay down across the main road where the scabs were brought into the coal mine to stop them from coming in. It was a very powerful point in the struggle. Ultimately, the coal miners won that strike, but the main lesson is that it showed the political power of working class unity. When men workers unite with female workers, that's when women and men and all workers see their power. Men are also hurt psychologically and emotionally. Under capitalism, sexism teaches men that they have a certain dominant role. They have to be superior, they have to be strong, and that limits their ability to express other human emotions, sadness, pain. And when they have to express things mostly through anger, it makes it harder for them to be better people. It stunts their growth. And that's why it's so important for men to see that they also need to get rid of sexism. In fact, get rid of capitalism. Because under a communist society, sexism will be gone. And men and women will be equal with each other as free partners, able to express the full range of human emotions.
Just a personal story. I was going to school to be a teacher, and I was taking a preschool class, and there was one male that was in the class, and he told a story, and it was just really heart-wrenching, that he wanted to be a daycare teacher, and he loved little kids, and he was nurturing, but people wouldn't bring their kids to his class because they thought he was some kind of pedophile or something, and it was so upsetting because young kids need to see men in those roles. So,
you know, some of my friends and I were talking about why it is that so many 20-something young men are just floundering and they can't find a job and they're not really trying to find a job. And we think we've come to the conclusion that it's because the society expects so much of these young men, and they're supposed to be the breadwinners, and they're supposed to play this role, like the previous speaker was saying. Mm-hmm. But then they can't get those kinds of jobs. Those kinds of jobs don't exist in capitalism, and so they're torn between what society expects of them and what society allows them to actually do. So I think that's another way sexism hurts men.
Right.
I think as parents, we should also be thinking about the ways we bring up our sons. Because I've noticed from talking to my students that if I raise the question of should boys play with dolls, not talking about the war dolls, but talking about the baby dolls, to take care of. Some of my students really freak out. In fact, I would say the majority of my students really freak out at the idea of little boys taking care of baby dolls.